This video is brought to you by Steamforged Games and their Adventures in Academia First Class Kickstarter, bringing you some amazing magical college characters and minis for your 5e games. The campaign ends soon. Check it out using the link below the video. And by Hit Point Press and their deck of many animated spell cards. These tarot-sized reference cards feature all the spell details you need on one side and beautiful, unique animations on the other. A great gift for the holidays. Learn more at animatedspells.com. Hello and welcome to The Gallant Goblin. The next official D&D book to hit store shelves is another Magic the Gathering crossover, Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos. We're going to be putting together two videos for you for Strixhaven, starting with this one about player options. If you are just a D&D player and not a game master, what does this book bring to your table? But before jumping in, a quick DMs Guild recommendation. Remember to use our links in the discount code HeraldGoblin5 to get yourself a discount. This one isn't strictly Strixhaven so much, but it is fun. If you've seen some of our Starfinder content lately, you may know that players in that game get to have mech battles. Well, with the Grease Monkey's Handbook, you 5e players can too. This is a rules guide for piloting Magitech, steampunk, and sci-fi mechs in D&D. This book is more than 100 pages long and features all those mech rules, plus loads of spells and NPCs, a new school of magic, a new prestige class. It is enormous. Go check it out, the Grease Monkey's Handbook, using the link below the video here. And now let's see what Strixhaven can do for you. If you're thinking about picking up Strixhaven as a player, be aware that there's only 11 pages in the book dedicated to new player options. The vast majority of the content here describes the Strixhaven setting and gives you a 4-part adventure that we'll be talking about in our next Strixhaven video. As an overview of the player options, you'll get a new race, the Owlin owlfolk, 5 new character backgrounds to use if you're a student at one of the colleges of the university, 2 new feats, 5 new spells, and 8 new magic items. So let's start with the Owlin race. They're a distant kin of giant owls from the Feywild, and that's pretty much all we're given lore-wise about them. I am currently of the opinion that D&D is in desperate need of revamping the way they handle races. We're going on a little short tangent here about the Owlin, using the Owlin as an example, so buckle up. First of all, it's just this lack of lore. Tell us more about their society. Where do they live now? Do they have communities, government? Do they have allies or natural enemies? Does the society have a history? Are they nomads? Are they xenophobic? Are they pacifists? We just don't know anything, which can make role-playing them tough. I mean, perhaps there's some lore in the Magic the Gathering novels, but I haven't read those. I guess as a player, you have the freedom to make them anything you like. They're a blank slate, but when you buy a setting book like this, we want to know about the people who live in that setting. And the other thing is that while I appreciate that Tasha's Cauldron loosened up some of those racial ability scores, which opens up a lot of new race and class combination possibilities, now races feel like almost nothing. When we compare the Owlin to the Aarakocra, the only difference is that the Owlin can be medium or small, while the Aarakocra can only be medium. The Aarakocra walk 5 feet slower, but fly 20 feet faster, and the Owlin have 120 feet of night vision and proficiency in stealth, while the Aarakocra can slash with their talons. And that's kind of it. That's the only differences. I think we need more to differentiate these various races, and in my mind, that looks like the racial feat trees a la Pathfinder 2nd Edition. But another D&D race is always nice to have, and as someone who loves Humblewood, it is great to see owls, like this guy over here, make the jump to playable race status in mainline D&D. Next, we have 5 fairly robust backgrounds reflecting your character's life, their lifelong preparations to enter one of the various Strixhaven colleges. Now, if you're not playing a Strixhaven adventure, but you still want to use one of these backgrounds, I think you can work with your game master to say that your character perhaps studied at Strixhaven or another similar university prior to beginning your campaign. And this background reflects that your studies there. So let me tell you briefly about the 5 colleges. Lorehold studies archaeomancy, the study of ancient things through magic. They're magical archaeologists. Prismari specializes in the study of the elements through magic, very much art through magic. Quandrix is a college of numeromancy, the study of mathematical patterns, fractals, and mathy stuff. Silverquill is the College of Eloquence through words, everything from battle poetry to magical scribing. And Witherbloom is the College of Essence Studies through the forces of life and death, through nature and its natural cycles. Now, Each of these new backgrounds gives you access to the Strixhaven Initiate feat, indicating that you have at least some fundamental knowledge of spellcasting. Depending on your college, you have access to 2 cantrips and 1 first-level spell, as seen in this chart. It's pretty sweet. In addition, the backgrounds give you access to additional spells if you are already a caster. For example, if Lorehold was your college of choice, you get access to these additional spells, which make a lot of thematic sense. And the book does offer a lot of advice about building a character for each of these colleges, including class and subclass recommendations, personality and personality trait rolling tables, and a rolling table for a trinket that you might carry with you. So like a Prismari student might have a pair of rose-colored glasses with glittery frames, and a Silverquill student might have a set of flashcards detailing different colloquialisms and their meaning, particularly useful if you're a stranger in this land. Overall, the backgrounds here are really well done in my eyes. If you have a character who had some history of study in one of these areas, no matter where they studied it, these are pretty great backgrounds to choose. They give you a pretty freaking strong start as a character when compared to other backgrounds, and they give you a pretty thematic one that should help you define your character in your mind. Let me tell you about the other feat included in the book here. Strixhaven Mascot is a 4th level feat, and so each college here has their own like magical summonable mascot, and this feat allows you to summon yours on command as a ritual find familiar spell. The stat blocks for the mascots are in the book here, depending on your college. As per the prerequisite Strixhaven Initiate feat that we just talked about, you can summon a spirit statue as a Lorehold student, an art elemental as a Prismari student, a fractal mascot as a Quandrix student, an inkling mascot as a Silverquill student, or a so-called pest mascot as a Witherbloom student. You can also give up one of your attacks and your reaction to have your mascot attack instead of you, and you can teleport and swap places with your mascot familiar as long as you're no more than 50 feet apart. Again, I think it's pretty sweet. It's one of those little feats that's fun and thematic and pretty useful and versatile, so yeah. Just these 2 feats, but they're pretty awesome, and I think they can bring a lot of character for any campaign. Next, we have 5 new spells, as you can see in this list. They're individually available to some of those college backgrounds that we just discussed, and they're on the class spell list, as you can see in this chart. Borrow Knowledge is a 2nd level divination spell that lets you draw on knowledge from spirits of the past, basically giving you proficiency and a skill for an hour. There's a gold cost to this one, though, as you'll need a book worth at least 25 gold pieces, but the spell doesn't consume the book. It just takes an action to cast. So pretty cool. Next, we have Kinetic Jaunt, which is a 2nd level transmutation spell that just takes a bonus action. It requires concentration and lasts a minute. You basically learn how to dance. And you can't cast it on others, by the way. You can only cast it on yourself. But it lets you walk 10 feet further per round, and you don't provoke opportunity attacks, and you can move through enemy squares. Pretty nice if you want to keep moving on the battlefield, and it's especially nice if you're using those optional flanking rules. Next is Silvery Barbs, a 1st level enchantment spell. When a creature that you can see succeeds on an attack roll ability check or saving throw, those d20 rolls, you can use your reaction to distract the creature, presumably with some silvery barbs, either literal or figurative. The creature has to re-roll the d20 and take the lower result. And this encourages you or an ally within range who can then roll with advantage on their next attack ability check or saving throw. So pretty handy. Next is Vortex Warp, a 2nd level conjuration spell. You can teleport a creature you can see within 90 feet to another spot within 90 feet that has some ground or water underneath them. So basically, you can't just teleport them off a cliff. If the creature is an enemy, they get a con save, and at higher levels, that range increases. So this spell can be pretty great, I think. You can totally pull an enemy from behind their defenses as long as you can see them, or you can send your barbarian right into the thick of it to get the drop on the enemy. Great spell, and I'm kind of shocked it didn't already exist. Finally, we have Wither and Bloom, a 2nd level necromancy spell. You cast this 10-foot sphere into an area within 60 feet. Each creature inside of your choice takes 2d6 necrotic damage, or half if they pass their con save. But since it's Wither and Bloom, one creature of your choice inside the area can roll one of their hit dice and regain HP equal to that roll plus your spell casting modifier. And at higher levels, the necrotic damage increases and the number of hit dice that they can and roll also increases. So it's a nice way to hurt foes and heal allies using just one action. So yeah, a pretty solid list of helpful spells there. I think you can really get some mileage out of these. And finally, we have some magic items, and these are pretty specific to the adventure. You can get a bottle of Boundless Coffee, a common item that does exactly what its title suggests. You can also get the cuddly Strixhaven Mascot. These are not Strixhaven mascots, but they're my cuddlies. And it's another common item that can help you fight off fear. You can use it once a day to roll with advantage on a check to either fight off or end the frightened condition. There's also a Strixhaven Pennant that gives you blight when you wave it around. Then we have primers or textbooks for each of the 5 colleges. These are uncommon items that require attunement by a spellcaster, and each one has 3 charges and regains 1d3 charges at dawn. When you use a charge, you can roll a d4 and add it to a certain ability check after you roll it. For Lorehold, it's history and religion. Prismari is acrobatics and performance. Quandrix is arcana and nature. Silverquill is intimidation and persuasion, and Witherbloom is nature and survival. Also, each primer lets you learn 1 first-level spell a day from certain spell lists that you can cast without using a spell slot, as long as you're holding the book when you cast it. Pretty sweet. And those are our player options for Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos. There aren't a lot of them, but the ones they included are almost all pretty great, thematic, and versatile. I think the best way to use them outside of a Strixhaven campaign is really to think about a future character that studied magic fairly seriously before starting out as an adventurer. Maybe they're self-taught, maybe they had a mentor who could be an important NPC in your story. Maybe they attended Strixhaven itself and know some of the professors there. Talk to your DM about your ideas and see what you can come up with. It's a pretty narrow niche when it comes to character background choices here, but having these player options with backgrounds and feats and spells and magic items all reflecting this idea of your character's history as a student of magic is a pretty great way to start building a complex 3-dimensional character who has had a life prior to you stepping in to lead it. And the player options are actually pretty powerful, so you aren't trading power for theme. In our next Strixhaven video, we're going to talk about the setting and the campaign itself, and I have thoughts. Strixhaven is hitting store shelves on December 7th. If you like the special edition cover here, which is this one, you can find it at your friendly local game store. And remember, if your GM is picking it up on D&D Beyond and is sharing content with you, you'll have access to these player options for free. So as the holiday season is getting upon us, do something nice for your GM because they're spending a lot of time and money to entertain you. Maybe get together with your players and chip in to help them pay for books or supplies and subscriptions. If they're paying like I am for D&D Beyond, Sirenscape, Hero Lab, Roll20, and probably some others that I'm forgetting. Or pick them up some nice gifts. Personally, I think the animated spell cards from Hit Point Press are a fantastic gift idea. For my 5e games, I pass out sets of these cards to my players who are casters so they can see their spells laid out in front of them on the table. It really speeds up our games, and they're just fun and beautiful to look at and to play with. You can get animated decks for spells of all levels, cantrips through 9th level, and they have the animated deck of Mini and the animated deck of Illusions, which are 2 endgame magical items that you can enjoy, plus animated condition cards and animated townsfolk, which are also handy and fun. Check them all out today at animatedspells.com. And don't miss out on the Adventures in Academia First Class Kickstarter by our friends at Steamforged Games. These minis and characters are perfect for your Strixhaven campaigns. It's such a creative and diverse set of characters too. You get an owlfolk, an awakened dog professor, a dragonborn, a catfolk, a furbolg, and so many others, plus beautiful character folios to get you started. You can see our full preview of the minis in the eye in the corner of your screen now, and check out the Kickstarter in the link below the video, or if I've said this sentence slowly enough, in the eye in the corner of your screen now. Don't miss out because the campaign ends at noon Central Time on Tuesday, the 7th of December. Go check it out right now. And thank you for watching today. You should come join our painting contest. Even if you aren't a great painter, you don't feel like you're a great painter, we have a lot of prizes for everyone. Come check it out at gallantgoblin.com/painting contest. And if you're interested in our upcoming Kobold Plush Kickstarter, please sign up to be notified when we launch it at koboldplush.com. And don't forget the Grease Monkeys Handbook over on DMs Guild using our link below the video. Also, come join us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For now, though, please stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.